been fantasy football quarterbacks, starts, sits, waiver plays, stream plays, whatever you need. Let's just start with Thursday Night Football. Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. Rippon is a sit and Darnold is a sit. I don't like either of these offenses to score a lot of points, but the Jets could get a little bit of a boost if Crowder can indeed play. He is questionable right now. Arizona Cardinals versus Carolina Panthers. Murray is a definite start for me. I think he's a start every week. And Bridgewater is a sneaky start for me. I think he's more of a daily fantasy or waiver play. If you're really desperate at quarterback, I think you could pick him up and start him this week. I like the matchup. Baltimore Ravens versus Washington football team. Lamar Jackson is a perennial start every single week. You got to start him. He's a start this week as well. I think Washington's defense is strong, but not strong enough to keep Lamar Jackson bottled up. Dwayne Haskins is a sit. I hate this matchup for Haskins, and for that matter, I don't like Dwayne Haskins as a quarterback. If you're super flex, I don't care. Don't play him. He's not worth a start. Cleveland Browns versus Dallas Cowboys. Baker Mayfield is a sit. I do not love this matchup for him. I think this is going to be more of what we saw last week against Washington. It's going to be ball control. He might get the occasional deep shot to Landry or Odell Beckham, but I do not like him as a start, although if you play super flex, I don't mind if you play him in your lineup. Dak Prescott is a definite start. I think you start him every week regardless of matchup. I love this passing attack for Dallas. Next game, Indianapolis Colts versus Chicago Bears. Phillip Rivers is a sit. Look, I don't like the projection on him. That's why I'm sitting. If you play Superflex and you have him, the Colts are effective enough moving the ball that I think you can play him. I also think we're going to get more receiving from Taylor and from Naheem Hines as well. So if you play him, that's fine. I don't like him in a standard league. If you're in a Superflex, maybe, but I don't love the projection on him at all. Nick Foles, I don't have a great projection on. However, if you pick him up, I do believe that Foles will be okay. I'm not going to play him myself. If you're in a super flex league, though, I'd be comfortable with him playing. If you're in daily fantasy, I'd snap him up in a few lineups. Jacksonville versus Cincinnati. Gardner Minshew, to me, I love Gardner Minshew generally. I think he's a sit this week. I think he'll rebound just fine. I think there's just better on waivers and at quarterback. So he's a mid-grade start. He's a super flex start, but for me, he's a sit in general lineups this week. Joe Burrow is a start. I like the matchup. And for many of you, you can still pick him up off of waivers and play him if you're desperate at quarterback. The Chargers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Herbert looks like he's going to play again. Tyrod Taylor still doubtful as of the time of this recording. Against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, though, I don't like either one of these quarterbacks. I'm a sit no matter who starts there. Brady, he's throwing the ball better and better. I have my start on Brady even against a tough Los Angeles Chargers defense. Minnesota versus Houston. Kirk Cousins is a sit for me. Deshaun Watson is a start. I have a poor computer projection on Watson, but still, I think he's a start for me in any format. Cousins, I just don't like the matchup for him. New Orleans Saints versus Detroit Lions. Drew Brees is a start. Matt Stafford is a start. I think we'll get points in this game. Stafford is a much better quarterback when Galladay's in the lineup. Suddenly, Marvin Jones isn't your number one receiver. He's your number two, which is pretty darn good. You have pretty decent slot in Amendola. You got Hawkinson. You got Jesse James as well at tight end. I mean, start on both quarterbacks in this game. Pittsburgh versus Tennessee. Keep a special eye on this one. At this point it's delayed, but it could always be postponed or canceled and all that stuff. So pay special attention. If you're in standard league, all things being equal, and you can start a different quarterback, I suggest it this week. You don't want to take this decision into Tuesday if that's what ends up happening and then see this game get canceled on Tuesday morning. Then you are screwed. So for that reason, I'm a wait and see. Roethlisberger would be a start. If you're rolling the dice, that's fine. Again, if you have other options, though, I would start other options just to be safe. Ryan Tannehill is a sit regardless. I like Tannehill all season long, but I do not like him against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Seattle versus Miami. Russell Wilson is a start. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a start. I think this will be higher scoring. Fitzpatrick has been in the top 10 twice this season so far in terms of fantasy football quarterbacks. Against Seattle's defense, they're giving up yardage in chunks. We know Adams is banged up. Secondary isn't playing up to snuff yet. Seattle's defense will play well this game, and I think we'll see some turnovers and all that stuff, but I do think Miami will do enough through the air to make Fitzpatrick a start, and Wilson's a start every week. He's going nuts right now. New York Giants versus the Los Angeles Rams. Daniel Jones is a definite sit for me. Goff is a start, mid-grade start, but I apologize, he's a sit. He's a mid-grade start for Superflex, but he's a sit in standard leagues for me this week. The Giants defense is playing a little bit better than you think they would. I like how they're playing football right now. The offense, ever since Saquon Barkley got hurt, that's in trouble. We'll see. Eventually, Devontae Freeman will ease into that lineup and play pretty well, but I don't know that this is the week that it'll happen. Buffalo versus Las Vegas. Allen is a start every week. For me, Carr this week is a sit. I don't love the matchup against Buffalo's defense. This is a situation where the Raiders will definitely have more juice running the ball than they will passing the ball. New England Patriots versus Kansas City Chiefs. Cam Newton is a start. Patrick Mahomes is a start. Newton, I don't know if he's going to beat the Chiefs through the air so much, but I think he'll get you enough on the ground that he's definitely worth a start. Philadelphia Eagles versus San Francisco 49ers. Carson Wentz is a sit. Jimmy Garoppolo is a sit. I don't like either quarterback in this matchup. At this point, Garoppolo is questionable. We will see what happens, whether or not Garoppolo starts or Mullins starts or something like that. But either way, I'm a sit. Ryan Wentz at this point, even if like Alshon Jeffrey or somebody like that can play, I don't care. Just Sean Jackson. Basically, the whole wide receiver core, including Dallas Goedert at this point at tight end, is hurt. I don't like it. At this point, Wentz has got to prove to me he's a viable starter. And Atlanta versus Green Bay, start your quarterbacks. There's going to be a lot of points in this game. Now, for those of you who are super desperate, you need to pick up somebody and start. You're streaming your quarterback this week, or you like daily fantasy sleepers. I got you a couple of names for you. I like Teddy Bridgewater versus the Arizona Cardinals. I like Ryan Fitzpatrick in desperation to get a lot of passing yardage and touchdowns against Seattle. I like Joe Burrow versus Jacksonville. I love the receiving core for Joe Burrow. I think he'll get it done. Matt Stafford, if he's available, I like him versus the Saints. I think he's a top 5 quarterback scoring this week. And Nick Foles, look, I just said I don't love the computer projection on him, but if you're a believer in Nick Foles to step up and show us some magic, show us Nick Foles that you can do it against a very strong Indianapolis defense. You're rolling the dice a little bit, but if you're a heavy lineup daily fantasy player, pick up some Bears, start him, see what the Nick Foles effect is.